Well, Slokes is coming up to the end of your first season at the club. I mean, how do you rate it on a personal level?
Yeah, it's been quite a tough season. I wasn't expecting anything different, kind of, in this league. It is a very tough league, and you've almost got 5 or 6 teams that are a little bit ahead of the rest. But you've seen from teams like Shrewsbury that if you kind of pick the results up at the right times, you can put yourself in the mix. You would never have put them at that position at the start of the season, but they thoroughly deserve to be in there. I mean, it's been a season of near misses for us. I know the gaffers mentioned that nearly word quite a lot, but we've kind of got to close to the playoffs, then not pick the results up to get into them. We've been leading in games and then drawing. We've been kind of tough games where we've played really well and then got beat kind of 1-0. That was maybe the Scunthorpe away game really epitomised that. We had a couple missing with international duty and a few injuries, and we really grafted for the full 95 minutes, and then just I don't even think it was an error or anything. It was just one of them things where a good little ball into the box, guy wins the header. You were on the brink of a very good point away from home from a top 6 team, and you've walked away with nothing. And they can really hurt a dressing room. But the lads that are here, and I came to realise that very quickly from coming here, that the spirit in the dressing room is fantastic, and things like that. Yeah, they do knock them, but they're down to earth, and they understand football and bounce back very quickly.
That spirit you mentioned there, I mean, lots of people have said about it over the last couple of years, certainly since this manager's been in, Darryl Clark. That's a vital ingredient in any successful side, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The way the gaffer wants to play the game, and the way he manages kind of enforces that spirit within the club, because he wants to win a game no matter what. He will make changes after 20 minutes, he'll make changes after 30 minutes if he has to, if he thinks that the game isn't right and he wants to win the game. And I think the way we play, especially at home, you kind of see that how many times we finish games so strongly, it's unbelievable. I mean, the gaffer's willing to throw caution to the wind to go and get the win. And that kind of breeds the spirit within the club, that kind of never say die attitude. And we've shown that throughout the season. I mean, the last game was a massive sucker punch for us to concede at that point in the game. Although you look back over the season, and we've done it to a few clubs, Blackburn notably recently. But yeah, the way we finished the game is a testament to the lads' physical levels as well as the spirit within the dressing room.
There have been a few near misses and hard luck stories, bad refereeing decisions as well along the way, but I guess every team will say the same thing come the end of the season.
Yeah, you've been in football long enough to realise that them kind of bad luck stories, they kind of go in swings and roundabouts. You'll have some at some point, and then some will go for you at others. It's just when they do go against you, a good season tends to be when they go against you, they're in games where you win anyway, or you pick up a point when you shouldn't have done, even though there was a bad decision. It makes it a bit of a tougher season when they kind of change the course of the game, and we've had a couple of red cards this season which have been a little bit questionable. But that's football, it happens, and you have to deal with that. And hopefully going on next season we can really make those extra 1% here and there, and hopefully the kind of bad luck stories ride our way and come in games where we can afford to have them bad luck stories, and it puts you very closer to the playoffs. But I think the spirit from this team is really built from the fact that the gaffer trusts his players, and I think you see that with the amount of players that he retains every season. You have a few coming in and coming out, but the general kind of group here and the core group have been here a while, and that really helps him. And they're very welcoming of the new lads coming in, and we can quickly become part of that core group. So, yeah, I think as long as, I mean, you're going to have good decisions, bad decisions all through the season. You just got to get them at the right time.
I'm going to ask you about new players coming in, because the squad's been a little bit stretched at times with injuries. suspensions, injuries mainly. There've been quite a few bad ones this season, and it's given the opportunity to a few younger ones. Maybe you could have done with a few more experienced heads at some point, do you think?
Well, I think the tough part of league football now is how they've closed the loan window to go in line with the transfer window. I mean, some managers aren't a big advocate of loans, don't get me wrong, some managers are, but when you do have a season where you pick up a few serious injuries to key players within your squad and certain positions, that loan window can become effective for you. The one thing now with the way that it's changed, I think the club have done the right thing and kind of gone down the path of bringing in a development squad, which allows him to have a larger pool of players. I mean, look, they're not going to be... I'm not going to disrespect them and say they're not ready, because we've had 6 or 7 that have played this year and proved that when they get the opportunity they can really take it. You look at Russ's debut at MK Dons, he was fantastic. Mike come on in one of the games recently, and he's been instrumental for the development squad and their success as well. So yeah, I know what you mean. It is a small squad compared to some with massive budgets, and when injuries come, it can stretch them, but that's why you've got the development squad there, and the type of manager that the gaffer is, he's willing to back them and give them the opportunity to prove to him that they are capable of doing that. And I think the majority of them that have been given their chance have really done that. Just
looking back to last summer, I mean, you and Smudge arrived on the same day. Surprised at each other's arrival, I think. You didn't know about each other beforehand, did you?
I was aware that he was bringing in another goalie who had been playing the season before, but I didn't know who it was. So yeah, when I come in, it was like a bit of a surprise to me as well. I'm sure it was to him, but no, it's been a good relationship throughout the year. He's a very good goalkeeper, is Smudge, and he's got a couple of years on me, which is always a little bit tough the older you get. And I think one thing you can say about Smudge is, I personally see throughout the year, he's matured a little bit within himself and with how he trains, and I guess his attitude towards the game is very good. And it makes it tough competition, but it also kind of brings out the best in you both. You know that if you're not at your game, someone else will be at your game. And I think another key thing from Smudge is a good character within the dressing room. He's got that. He's got a little bit about him, so the lads enjoy having him round.
It's difficult for a keeper though, isn't it? Because you know if you're on the bench, you're not going to go on unless the other keeper's injured, whereas an outfield player would think, Gaffer wants to change the game, so I might get a chance here.
Yeah, it can make it frustrating throughout the year, but me and Smudge have both been kind of around them situations to understand what that is. If I was taken out through loss of form, I would not have an argument, because I'm partial to understand what the gaffer's going through. He's got a squad of 25 players, and if one player's not in form, then doesn't really deserve to play. So it can be tough mentally to take, but if you accept that and you look honestly at your own form and you're like, well, do you know what, I'm not in form and Smudge has been brilliant, then you can't have an argument. You just got to come in every day and train how you would, work just as hard, if not a little bit harder, and hopefully when you do get your opportunity, like you say, you don't know when it's going to come, but when you do get your opportunity, you take it.